Positive Continuous here. With the new Alien series, Alien Earth, out now, I've of course decided to go ahead and do my ranking for the Alien franchise, including Alien vs Predator as well. There's been pretty much nine Alien movies in total here, so some good, some not so good. So here is my official ranking. Alright, the worst Alien movie in my opinion, comes at number 9, Alien 3. Oh boy. Alien 3, it was actually the directorial debut by David Fincher, and to me, this is actually his only bad movie he's ever directed. Since then, he's always put out some great stuff like Fight Club, Benjamin Button, many others. But his first film was a doozy. This is, of course, the third Alien movie that came out a few years after Aliens was released. It's this time around you got Ripley's escape pod crashes in Verona on 161, a Predator planet, and of course a xenomorph is brought via facehugger, begins killing inmates, and she's the sole survivor of the crash, and it's just not really great. It's completely boring. Does not really do anything unique here. Sigourney Weaver's okay. She's fine, obviously. You do got Ralph Brown, Lance Hankerson. It does have Sacrifice, Redemption. You also had Charles Dalton and Charles Dance both in this too. Good cast members, but just nothing about it was all that great. It is a shame too, because David Fincher is one of the best, but his first film didn't do anything. So yeah. Alright, coming in at number 8 is Alien vs. Predator Wreck Room. Now, this of course came out all the way back in 2007 and set in 2004, immediately after Alien vs. Predator. And you have a Predator Alien hybrid crashes into a Colorado town, spawning xenomorphs here. And it is also bad. I mean, the first Alien vs. Predator is okay, but the sequel is just god awful. The interspecies war survival is terrible. The consequences genetic hybrids was pretty bad. Pretty boring throughout. It was also PG-13, which I'm still PG-13 Alien Predator movie still wasn't the best. But yeah, it's just not that good one. Hopefully, if we do get a new Alien vs. Predator film, it'll be much better than the ones we had, but who knows. Alright, number 7 is Alien Resurrection. Now, of course, this here you had Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder, Brad Dourif, a.k.a. Chucky himself. And it takes place in 2379, where 200 years after Alien 3, scientists on the USM Yonagata clone Ella Ripley to attract a xenomorph queen. And the film blends horror with dark humor, and really does not make what made the Aliens really good here. It's also pretty terrible. It's definitely a really bad one. It's not really good. And it always shows that not everything with the word resurrection in the title always works out so well. Thank heavily we got Alien, Dexter Resurrection was good, but Alien Resurrection, not so good there. Number 6 is Prometheus. Not as bad as the other ones, but a little bit of a letdown. Prometheus was, of course, directed by Ridley Scott in his first Alien film since, the original. And, of course, here you got Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie Holloway, funded by Wayland Corporation, travels to the moon to find humanity creators. And the film pretty much is like a prequel of sorts to Alien, and it's just also not that great. You do got the likes of Noomi Rapace, Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, Tom Hardy's twin, Logan Marshall Green, but other than that, it was really boring. Did not really get great alien battles here. The alien look was okay, I guess, but that should really go by. I mean, yeah, I remember I watched this one, because this was actually the first Alien movie I ever saw in theaters. So I was like, oh, are we going to get back to the Alien? Will this be, let's say, the Batman Begins of the Alien franchise? Nope, was definitely not it. All right, coming in at number 5 is Alien versus Predator. Now, this is also better than the other ones in my list. Uh, Alien versus Predator, of course, it is like the latest. Obviously, they were trying to capitalize on the success of something like Freddy versus Jason, so they had Alien versus Predator here. With Sanaa Lathan, Tommy Flanagan, Lance Henriksen, Ewan Bremner, and of course, we're billionaire Charles Bishop, played by Lance Henriksen, leads a team to investigate an ancient pyramid beneath Antarctica here. And they, of course, do find like xenomorphs and predators who use humans as hosts here. And the fight scenes between the alien and predator was pretty cool. It blends like action, mythology, and stuff. It is a really cool one. Far better than Alien Requiem than Requiem. Obviously, it's still pretty entertaining in my opinion. Now these are actually the ones I really did quite like. Number 4, Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant did not really get much love at the time. I actually thought it was pretty decent. I really thought Alien Covenant was the best Alien movie since Aliens, in my opinion. That's not really saying much, but still. This, of course, once again, you do got Michael Fassbender, Danny McBride, seeing James Franco literally get fired up here. It was pretty cool. Of course, it takes place in 2104, where like the colony ship, the Covenant, driven to a seemingly habitable planet after receiving a mysterious signal, and it's also a pretty good one. I mean, I did quite like. It actually has some of the best kill scenes in the Predator, like I've seen in the Predator franchise since Aliens. The kills are pretty cool. I mean, the shot. Probably my favorite kills throughout this one is actually the one in the shower scene with Juicy Smollett. Saying that was actually pretty cool there. Of course, directed by Ridley Scott. It's a really decent one in my opinion. And I always love the way the alien looked too. Alright, number 3 is the recent one, Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus, of course, directed by Fede Alvarez, really brought back the alien, like the horror in the alien world. Of course, we're like a group of young space colonizers, including Rain Carden, played by Kelly Spenny, and her brother Andy, played by David Johnson, scavenge a derelict Wayland spaceship to escape the harsh mining colony, and of course they awaken a horde of facehuggers and xenomorphs, leading to a brutal fight for survival. And Taylor Spenny is awesome in this. Really plays the part very well. The other cast, cast of young actors was pretty good. It is set between Alien and Aliens that balance horrors, action, really cool themes of like exploration and human bonds and stuff. It is a really decent installment, and I cannot wait for another Alien Romulus down the line. Our number 2 is the original Alien. Alien, I think, is like one of the most iconic horror sci-fi movies of all time. One of Ridley Scott's earliest. I think this was his first, or I think this was actually the one that really put him on the map. Of course, the one that put Sigourney Weaver on the map came out in 1979, starring obviously the chestburster scene, so iconic. Ian Holm as Ashley Android was great. Sigourney Weaver, one of the most iconic characters of Ellen Ripley. If that character was created today, I guarantee you right now people will be calling that character woke. But anyway, I mean, it's just such a great one. Really iconic. One of the best like sci-fi horror films out there. I mean, it's just a really great one. And of course, number 1 is Aliens. Starring Bill Paxton, the only guy to ever get killed by Terminator, Predator, and Alien. Of course, Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, Lance Henriksen. It's just one of the best sequels of, like, definitely one of the top tier sequels where the sequel is actually superior than the original. It's just such a great one. This time around, after, like, drifting space for 57 years, Ripley is rescued and recruited by a Wayland Yoni Corporation to join a team of colonial Marines investigating the loss of contact with the colony here. And it's just really terrific. Michael Biehn is great in this. Really decent teamwork throughout. Paul Reiser was great. I mean, it's a really good one. Definitely one of the top tier horror, sequels there is, like sci-fi horror sequels. But that's pretty much it there. Here is, of course, my quick rundown. 9, Alien 3. 8, Alien vs. Predator Requiem. 7, Alien Resurrection. 6, Prometheus. 5, Alien vs. Predator. 4, Alien Covenant. 3, Alien Romulus. 2, Alien. And number 1 is Aliens. Let me let you guys. How would you rank the Alien franchise? What's your favorite out of the franchise? Some of your least favorite? Are you excited for more Alien type movies in the future? And did you enjoy Alien Earth? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simon Simon.